in 5 minutes, are you going to be good enough to explain what your company is, what its value proposition is, and why it's going to go to the moon, hence Launchpad. And so we're going to bring up now the VCs who are going to be our judges. I'd like to bring up Chris Albinson, Patrick of Panorama Capital, Patrick Chung of New Enterprise Associates, Michael Goguen of Sequoia Capital, Erik Straser of More Davidow Ventures, and Todor Tashev of Omidyar. Welcome, you guys. Please join me in welcoming them. Thank you. I think I'm supposed to stand here. Is that right? We're going to have, actually, I'm going to step over there after we get the first pitch up here. We have not announced who the winners are, so you're going to learn as, these guys know, but you're going to learn as folks come up. So in scientific fashion, we are going to announce in alphabetical order. So the entrepreneur is going to come up, give their pitch. I will introduce them, give their pitch. There's going to be a little bit of comment from the peanut gallery here. And then the person's going to step off and the next person's going to come. So first up, and one more thing, I'm glad I just caught myself here, but we really changed it up in terms of the kinds of companies that applied for and were chosen. We really took the Web Meets World theme to heart, and we asked companies to apply that really addressed Web Meets World. And as a matter of fact, it was in a conversation with Chris Albinson when we were talking about changing up the Launchpad that the idea of Web Meets World came up. And so there's been 1,000 conversations that have launched this conference, and we're trying to pull a thread through all of it. So you're going to see a number of companies here that are quite distinct from what you might expect from a traditional, quote, Web 2 industry conference. So the first one, Carbonetworks Corporation. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Michael Meehan. Michael, welcome. Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Tell us about your company.
Hey, guys. First, I'd like to extend a thanks to the panel here and everybody here that's learning about startups like my own and the others that will follow. And a good thanks to John and his staff for inviting us down. It really is a privilege to be able to present to you guys. So, to start off with, I really believe that there's 3 ways to affect change in the world. Number 1 is to be an activist. Number 2 is to be a politician, the good kind, if there is such a thing. And number 3 is to capitalize on market movements and on the private sector to allow companies to do the right thing and also enhance their balance sheets in the process. So, with that in mind, let me tell you about what we do. So, Carbonetworks helps companies participate in global carbon markets. And we do that essentially by monetizing the emissions that they have today, but more importantly, the emissions that they'll have in the future in terms of ongoing investments and business. It goes in sort of a series of steps. The first step is really getting that carbon footprint together, whether that's through us, through our partners, or through someone else. Number 2 is monetizing that. We reach out to individual markets, and we also provide price forecasting in areas where there are no markets. Number 3 is looking forward, so they can understand whether carbon is going to be an asset or a liability to the company going forward, a financial asset or liability. And once they have all that together is why we call it Carbonetworks. We get these guys to the platform where they can actually hook up with all of the different reductions that are available to them in the market. And we're not just talking about offsets or credits, although those are part of them. We're also talking about things like virtualization, looking at different sources of energy, looking at consulting. There's thousands of things companies can be doing today. So we were started in 2005. The platform itself has been under development for about 9 years. It's almost, it'll be 10 years next month, actually. We were privately funded. We raised our Series A back in 2008, and we're currently growing throughout the US and EMEA as well. We've got 300 companies to date on the system in about 36 different countries, and we're growing by about 2 or 3 corporate clients a day. Media has been very positive so far. We're covered by IDC and Forrester. We were labeled one of the top 5 carbon management vendors in the space just last month by Energy Insights. So let's take a look at the market. It's not really a question of whether the carbon market is coming or if it's here or when it's coming. It already is here. Last year it was a $65 billion market worldwide. It's bigger than wind and solar combined. This year it's estimated to be about $100 billion. Goldman Sachs estimates in a couple of years it'll be $1 trillion. Now what's important about this slide is not the big numbers. What's important is that this is a fundamental shift in global financial markets. This isn't just a new way to leverage technology or a new way to leverage your market. It's a fundamental shift. And our job is to help companies navigate that and also profit from that while doing good things for the environment. So how it works is a company comes to us and they pick up the phone and they say, we're going to have $5 million and we're going to put it in to pick a horse, carbon trading. Can you help us do that? And we said, well, yes, we can help you do that. But is that what's really best for your business? And what happens is the phone kind of goes silent for a second because they don't know. And that's okay. The reason they don't know is because this is what exists in the market. And you've seen this over and over again through this past couple of days here at the O'Reilly conference. There's lots of data, tons of data. Data is not the problem. Getting the context on that data and getting these companies to do something with that is the problem. So right now, compliance software, EH&S, which is environmental health and safety software, is this legacy software that's been in this market forever. So, still not getting to market. So then what they do is they backfill, and they backfill with spreadsheets, consultants, certification, reporting, on and on and on. And then the CEO comes back in the room and says, hey, guess what? I just took out a 2-page ad in the Wall Street Journal telling everybody about how, we're cutting our energy consumption, we're cutting our carbon consumption, what do you got? And they still don't get to market. And so he's left sitting there going, well, what do I do? Do I trade? Do I invest? Do I partner? What's my strategy? And this is exactly where Carbonetworks fits in. So Carbonetworks takes all of this data from all these different systems, or does a complete end-around if those systems don't exist, and monetizes those by reaching out to existing markets. At the same time, we leverage the expertise that's on our network already to provide the reductions straight across the board. Whether these reductions are credits, whether they're energy reductions, whether these things are virtualization services, consulting, right across the board. And what happens is it completes the loop, and it gets companies to the market that much faster, and realizes reductions in OpEx, as well as uncovers new investments for these guys. So what $5 million was going to be in carbon trading then becomes $10, $15 million in a diversified portfolio of reductions. It's a completely different game. So we're funded, we're well-backed, we're a growing company, and we're a recognized leader in what New York Times has estimated would be the most significant and largest market that we'll see in our lifetimes. There's an opportunity for many of you guys to participate, not only from the financial sector, but also the innovation side too. And we'd love to hear from you. Thanks.
Wow, you're kidding. He should get points for being exactly on 5 minutes, right? What do you guys think?
And that's quite important for VCs, so your timeliness was well appreciated. I really liked this company and your presentation. I think you've tackled one of the things that allows this to go on and be a business instead of just a kind of feel-good repository in the enterprise.
Absolutely.
The trick is to get all of these things audited, as you say, and visible, and then to figure out what to make actionable about them. And translating them into a currency that enterprises can understand, I think is critical to making a real enterprise value proposition out of this. I like the idea of connecting it to a network. The idea of trading here will probably lend itself to companies that can establish volume transactions as having network effect.
Absolutely.
And in a winner, this is going to be one of the markets where I think winners will be rewarded handsomely because there could be network effect among different types of partners. That may drive you into a vertical acquisition strategy as partners trade amongst themselves. I like the fact that you have enterprise customers. These are real customers. They buy on ROI. And I like your adoption model of SaaS.
Thanks.
Well, does everyone agree with that?
Well, here are the couple of things I'd worry about if I heard this pitch. One would be on the market timing, which I would have said was great a month or two ago, and how I'd questioned it a little bit. With the economic downturn, one has to wonder if you're the CFO of a company, have your priorities shifted a little bit, and am I really going to be spending on SaaS software versus cutting costs somewhere else? That would be one worry. The other would be, while the SaaS model has a lot of appeal, even in a downturn, the SaaS model seems to work best when somebody can justify constantly paying for something, i.e. they're getting benefit over a very long period of time. Whereas this strikes me a little bit more as I'm getting benefit right up front to get my act together, to figure out my strategy, but then in year 2 and 3 and 5, am I still willing to pay a lot of money for something that maybe I kind of got my ducks in a row and doesn't require as much active management? Those would be my questions.
You guys should know. I don't know.
Can I comment to that?
No. But thank you very much. We've got to stay on schedule. Appreciate you coming. Thanks very much. However, afterwards you can. All right. Next up, is everything cool? You ready to go? All right. Our next entrepreneur is Mok Oh, founder and CTO of EveryScape.
Great. Thanks, John. Ladies and gentlemen, judges, good afternoon. I'm Mok, and I work for EveryScape, and I got a lot to show today, so let's get started.
What you reap is what you...
So, EveryScape, as you see in the video, it's about the real world online. The real world online. So, we're doing this because there's an inherent disparity between the real versus the online. The online that describes the real, there's an inherent disparity. Let's take an example. So you went to a restaurant, you find a restaurant you like, you want to go there. So you go online, do some research, read some text, look at some pictures, and you're like, okay, I think I understand it. And you finally go there, and typically the results are you're pleasantly surprised or pleasantly disgusted. And online, it's ruled by text and images. Online text and images are flat. Whereas the world that we live in, it's three-dimensional. It's got places and spaces. There's this disparity between the online world versus the real world. And in order to bridge this gap, we have to escape the web flatland. So what do we do in EveryScape here? Let's go into our website. So we go around taking ground-level imagery very effectively, very cost-effectively, as well as scalably. And in this demo here, a friend of mine wants to meet me at this restaurant over here. And he chose a place called Olena. And I see that, okay, let's get more information about the place. And there's reviews and photos that would pull off the web. But just from the outside, it doesn't look that appetizing. So I'm going to try to go inside. Okay, so it's definitely looking better. Cool. So I'm inside. It's nice decor. There's a bar. And he left me a little escape note saying, drinks, let's meet here tonight, 7 p.m. It gets crowded, so find me exactly here. All right, I can do that. And the next memo says, dinner, I reserved this table for 7:30, just in case. So that particular table, and I can see the map and say, okay, I know exactly where that is. So this is power of EveryScape, where we actually put the real world together with the online world. Of course, we can reskin it and basically have the restaurant shown in different websites as well. Of course, got a little bit more time for a final demo. So sometime in 2009, what we want to do is bring this content to a mobile device. So can I get a quick shot here, please? Camera? Over here? Thank you. So as you can see, we can look around just like in EveryScape and be able to walk around the city. And if you see something you like, tap it and go inside. So imagine doing this, not just for restaurants, for all the hotels, salons, everywhere you want to go, every scape that you want to see, not just in the US, but in the world. That is our dream, that is our goal, and that's what EveryScape's out to do. Thank you.
He hit it too. So far, so good. Yeah, no one's wasted a second. What do you guys think?
So, Mok, first of all, I think it's an amazing thing what you're doing to try to digitize the real world. And, obviously that demo was extraordinary. The questions that I would have are, is it a Street View add-on? And if so, does it rely on brute force? You're going to have to spend millions of dollars driving around, trucks with cameras on them and GPS locators to assemble this gigantic database of real-world 3D images. And number two, if it is, what is the quality? I mean, the images are going to be two-dimensional at the end of the day. They're not going to be imbued with physics. For instance, in a video game where you could hurl a ball at a street lamp and have it bounce off, and they'll be locked into the conditions under which the photo was first taken. So you wouldn't, if I was interested in seeing what the street looks like at night or what it looks like in the summer as opposed to the winter, you'd have to duplicate that by sending a truck out again. So I think that cost angle is an important one. Even a company with as much resources as Microsoft has something called photosynth, which allows the crowd to source images and make them into 3D environment. But I think it's what an outstanding concept.
So I would add to the encouragement. I think I was more positive and more inspired by what you could do with this one, because believe it or not, to many in this room maybe, people do still go out in the real world, not just the internet, and they spend money in the real world. And there hasn't been wonderful connections from a monetization point of view, connecting something you're seeing on the web and then motivating you to go in the real world. And I think this is sort of a required next step to help get you to do that. And it applies to a large number of industries. Any place where you're going to spend money where it sort of matters what the place looks like or feels like, whether it's recreation, a hotel, vacation, spa, as you mentioned, I think it will be important to have this kind of functionality, and it could be monetizable.
All right. Thank you very much, Mok. Okay. Our next company. Are we ready? Is everything cool? Do I have to soft shoe? Are you all good? That good. Is Dara O'Rourke, the CEO of GoodGuide. Dara?
Thank you. I'm Dara O'Rourke, the co-founder and CEO of GoodGuide. With me today is Ryan Ipersbach, one of our star engineers at GoodGuide. Today, we know almost nothing about the products we consume every day. We don't know where they're made, how they're made, what the impacts are on workers, communities, the environment, our health, even our children's health. I'm a professor at UC Berkeley. I've been researching the global supply chains that produce the goods we consume here in the US for over a decade. But the reason I'm here today, presenting GoodGuide in this new company, is one reason: my daughter Minju. Several years ago, I was putting sunscreen on her face, and I stopped to find out what chemicals were in that formulation. It turned out there were 2 hazardous chemicals that I was putting on her every morning as she went out. That first angered me, then it inspired me to research every single product in our house. I found lead on her favorite toy, Dora the Explorer. I found another carcinogen in her baby shampoo. And I really realized I knew almost nothing about the products I was bringing into our house every day. I either had no information or I had marketing claims that only served to confuse me more. This inspired us to create GoodGuide, the world's largest and most reliable source of information on the environmental, social, and health performance of products and companies. We've pulled together an unbelievable team of scientists and technologists, pulling together hundreds of data sources to help you find healthy, safe, green products. Let me show you how easy we make it to find the products you want. We can go to GoodGuide, click Browse Products, click Baby Soap to find my daughter's soap. In 2 clicks, I can find the safest, healthiest baby soap available. I can instantly purchase it, or I can add it to a shopping list and take it with me when I go to the store later. Now this tool, GoodGuide, is not just for concerned parents shopping online. Also, all of us here can look up products we use every day. Let's take Web 2.0 luminary Mark Zuckerberg. Mark, as you can see, is a big fan of Arm & Hammer on his t-shirt. So let's look up his likely toothpaste, Arm & Hammer toothpaste. We can instantly find out this is actually a pretty poor product, 3.5 out of 10. We can look at the health score, the environment score, and the social score. Even for simple products like this, we're rating them across 140 criteria of performance to find out, are there any carcinogens? Yes. Are there any neurotoxins? Yes. How does this company, Church & White, the maker, perform on environmental issues, social issues? We can tell you, did they test on animals? Basically, anything you would want to know about a product or a company, we're going to deliver to you at the moment you're making a decision. Mark can then add this to an avoid list and post it to his Facebook page, so he'll avoid it and all his friends will avoid it. More importantly, we can also show Mark how to find a better, safer, healthier toothpaste. But as you all know, very few people shop for their toothpaste online. They buy it in stores, with their food, with their laundry detergent. So that's what I'm incredibly proud and excited today to announce the first ever iPhone and text messaging app to deliver all this information whenever and wherever you need it in stores while you're shopping. We've pulled together and brought to you through the iPhone and the text messaging these tools that are pretty amazing. Let's turn to the Elmo and we'll show you how it works. With the one click, we can again browse top categories, top products. Find products that match, here we go on the Elmo. Let's look up baby sunscreens to find out the top rated sunscreen. We can click down, find the product, look at the health score, environment, social score again, drill down, find out what's behind the rating, how it got that score, find out ingredients to avoid in this product. We can log in and pull up that personal shopping list we created at GoodGuide.com and find products we want to find and we want to shop for. Also, we can pull up an avoid list and look at Mark's list of products to avoid when we get to the store. This, really, the bottom line is, for the first time ever, when I'm in a store, I will know the best product, the best sunscreen to buy for my daughter, Minju. Now, for people who don't have an iPhone, let's switch back to the PowerPoint. We're also releasing a text messaging version. You can text us, 41411, GGuide, shampoo, find, again, the top-rated products. This really is the tip of the iceberg for GoodGuide. Right now, today, we're showing and rating over 60,000 products across two categories, personal care and household chemicals. Up next, food, then toys, then electronics, and more. Really, what we're moving towards is a system that will change how millions of Americans shop every day, transforming how you see and interact with products, and solving a real problem in your daily life on how to pick products. Long term, what we want to do is help you find safe, healthy green products based on the best science in the world, screened through your personal preferences, empowering you to make better decisions, empowering you to really have way more information and power in the market than you ever had, and ultimately to transform the marketplace. Our hope is that if enough people, you, me, us, together use this information to shop, we can motivate firms to produce more of the stuff we do want and less of the stuff we don't want. This is where the web truly meets the world. We hope you'll join us at GoodGuide.com and help us change the world. Thank you.
Thank you. What do you guys think?
I guess I'll go first. I really think you did a terrific job of providing the motivational context, and weaving in the personal story was a wonderful way to ground the discussion. And I give you a lot of credit for having a launch announcement in front of an audience like this. I think that's a fantastic way to build enthusiasm for getting your company off the ground. On the concern side, this is one of the companies we see them sometimes in our business where I wasn't convinced whether this was a better startup or a better public service. And so one of my questions would be, to what extent could you really build a high velocity transaction model off of this? And the other question I would have is, what's the ongoing cost for content creation? There's a lot of product velocity just in the shelves in a store. And finally, if you look at localization, some of the products have high transportation costs. So what water I buy might depend on whether I live in Boston or Arizona or Seattle. And I think you might have to localize the content, which would add to the cost structure.
Very good to see you again. What a terrific progress over the last year. Congratulations to that. I think that the service is very compelling on a number of dimensions. It seems like you guys have figured out a way to leverage credible data, expose it in a very easy way for us as consumers to come to informed decisions with regard to our purchases. You have a way, it seems like, to, in a scalable fashion, to aggregate the data and analyze it. So this is really very, very compelling on that front. From the perspective of a user, there are twofold value that I can see. One is, as an individual, I can make informed purchase decisions. But there is the other aspect to which you talked as well, which I find incredibly interesting, is the fact that the informed behavior of individuals can actually lead to a massive change that can change how a company designs products, how a value change of industry is structured, and fundamentally potentially changing industries. For me, this is an illustration of how individual behavior in an informed way can guide massive adoption and changes into industries. And at the Omidyar Network, actually, we're very excited to looking for this sort of concepts that have this dual aspect. And today, with the launch of the mobile application, it takes it to the purchasing point, which is also very compelling. So congratulations.
Wonderful. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Next up, again, going with our spelling first approach, Predictify, and Parker Barrile, the founder of Predictify. Parker, take it away.
Thank you. Okay. Hi, I'm Parker Barrile, co-founder and CEO of Predictify. I'm joined today by our VP of Engineering, Venu Javarappa.
Pay attention.
Let's get one thing straight right off the bat. Predictify is not a prediction market. Rather, it's a prediction platform that adds an interactive and forward-looking dimension to the news by aggregating the perspectives of real people, like fantasy sports for everything else. Here's our homepage, which highlights the day's top news with a prediction challenge related to each story. We also mine our vast repository of crowdsourced data for interesting did-you-know style factoids. For example, 91% of our users predict that Britney Spears won't get pregnant again by the end of 2009. Let's hope they're right. On Predictify, users can make predictions about all sorts of topics, from interest rates to celebrity baby names, and build a reputation based on their accuracy. Here's an example of a question about the Democratic nomination last spring. It includes some background information on the topic, links to other relevant information, and a discussion forum. Over 6,000 predictions and more than 1,200 pages of comments were posted on this question, which speaks to the engagement of our platform. But Predictify isn't just about engagement. It also generates massive amounts of data. On each question, we aggregate the perspectives of hundreds or thousands of users, along with demographic information, into a rich data set. Here's an example of the results for a question about the Consumer Confidence Index in September. Not only was our crowd more accurate than economists surveyed by Reuters, but we can also compare the predictions of different user segments. For example, to show that users in their 20s were more accurate than users in their 40s. Reputation and expert identification are also important parts of our model. We can filter the predictions based on level of expertise, which is a proprietary metric we calculate based on past predictive accuracy. It looks like experts were significantly more accurate than beginners, so our system is working. Shifting gears a bit, you'll notice that there are no display ads on Predictify. Instead, we offer sponsored questions for marketers who want to create highly engaging advertising experiences. We charge $1 per prediction, and we share a portion of the fee with the predictors based on their accuracy to encourage thoughtful participation and high-quality predictions. Here's an example of a question about the box office gross for Dark Knight. Rather than trying to attract users' attention with a display ad, Warner Brothers can post a full-page ad unit that includes the trailer to generate awareness and a prediction challenge to engage consumers. Best of all, since users are making a prediction, we can send them a personalized email when the question is scored with additional information from the advertiser. In this case, for example, a coupon for the DVD. In addition to making Predictify.com a destination site, we'd like to make predicting a part of every online experience. So far, we've partnered with the Washington Post, the San Francisco Chronicle, Rasmussen Reports, and a number of blogs to combine our technology with their content. Here's an example of the Washington Post Prediction Center, where the post's editors can extend the user experience on hot topics by posting prediction challenges related to their coverage. We also have a widget that anyone can post on a website or blog with a short snippet of HTML. Here's an example on BNet. Users can make a prediction and see the results without ever leaving the page. Our widget typically generates click-through rates of 10 to 15% and can be used to syndicate sponsored questions. So in closing, I'd like to share a few key stats. Since launching over 1 year ago, we've collected more than 1 million predictions and over 200,000 comments, making us one of the largest repositories of user-generated forward-looking information on the web. We expect to continue this momentum in 2009 by making Predictify.com an even more compelling destination and expanding our partner network. So thanks for your time today, and remember, don't just read the news, predict it.
Thank you. Wow, it's like in the Senate. You're going to cede your 45 seconds to the next guy, or what do you guys think?
Yeah, you know, there were some interesting things. You know, I like the engagement. You know, the dig-like rating system. You know, I think is kind of intriguing. The partnership with the newspapers was okay. Patrick's not going to like me for saying this because I know he likes it. But you know, honestly, I didn't get there. You know, the challenge for me is there's so many of these prediction, quiz. You know, keep going down the list. You know, companies, and I just don't know how you build a big business here, frankly. You know, Facebook has got their own poll system, you know, on the Facebook platform. You know, that really didn't drive much value, you know, on a platform that's already established, where you can get really rich, deep demographic data, and even there, you know, it didn't really seem to work. So, you know, net, I just wasn't all that excited by it. I think the other thing, just a little bit of feedback. You know, drop the notes, man. Pound it out there. Be passionate about what you're talking about, because it came off a little flat.
Ooh, all right, Simon.
Sorry.
You know, I thought you did a fantastic job, and you should be commended for it. Substantively, I thought you have just simply amazing data possibilities. The fact that you can predict consumer confidence better than Reuters, I mean, that's valuable information, and I think that's, in the end of the day, that's going to be monetizable. Now, you know, I'm reminded of that DARPA futures market that was so scarily predictive that, you know, they had to take it down. And I think there is, in this world where we're so interconnected, where the on-ramp to participate in a mass question and answer marketplace is so short. You know, I think you're on to something big here. The one thing I would ask you to look for is, in a well-functioning market, you know, you depend on liquidity and you depend on incentives, but you want to steer clear of being, you know, regulated as a derivatives market. So I would look to gaming models, video gaming models, that are you know, they're not, you know, they can create the same types of incentives and feelings without being considered, you know, regulable by the SEC. So congratulations.
Well, thank you very much, guys. Thank you. All right, continuing our romp through the alphabet. Next up is, are we ready? Where are we coming from? I'm not even seeing a head peeking through. Oh, there we go. Bhaskar Roy, co-founder and VP marketing of Quick. Welcome.
Hello, how are you all? Hello, everyone. It's good to be here and talking to you. So Quick, what we do is essentially enable people to share live video from their cell phones. And when I'm sharing it on the web, it's live, and whoever is watching it can interact with me, and the chat shows up right here on my phone. So with that, let's actually see the product. The chat shows up right here on my phone. So with that, let's actually see the product. There. I'm streaming live from here, and whoever is chatting, if there's anyone chatting, it shows. I'm streaming live from here, and whoever is chatting, if there's anyone chatting, it shows. Let me mute this right so here. That we don't get into this echo mode. So essentially, what's happening is people who are streaming live around the world, people are sharing what they are doing with their friends, their family, and the entire world. And so let's look at how people are really using this product. So we have a community of users, and they're using this, they're finding ways that they can use this product across the board. We internally call it, there are 1,000,001 ways people use it. But in terms of use cases, what we are finding is there are two predominant ways people are using it. One is, hey, this is what I'm doing right now. Take a look at this. And they're interacting with their friends and family. In fact, in our first Halloween, we had a baby birth, which came in where a parent was sharing their newborn baby with someone across the world. And then Halloween events, kids events, these are getting shared. Plus, what we are finding are people like mainly bloggers or newscasters or publishers are using this to broadcast what they're doing, taking interviews, and that interview shows up straight on their website, and they're able to interact with their audience at that given point in time. In fact, we also have some celebrities using the product, like Ashton Kutcher, who runs, I think, a weekly show using this product in order to engage with his audience. And we have Pope, not really the Pope, but the Vatican media and the priests around the Pope using this to capture travel diaries. And that's the second use of the product, which is what we call more of a camcorder use case. Since it's just one button stream, I stream it, it's up on the web, and once I stop it, it's automatically archived. If I have configured it to go to YouTube, it will go to YouTube. If I've configured it to go to other blogs or my own website, it will automatically go there, enabling me to just capture what I'm doing with just one button. We are also finding a number of broadcasting companies and media companies using this to do live breaking news. And here are some samples of media companies who are currently using our product. We also have the broadest phone coverage. So apart from smartphones like the Nokia smartphones, Windows mobile phones, Blackberries, we also have this down to where Java-enabled phones, the J2ME phones, which carriers typically give away, you can even stream live video from there. So we released an alpha version for J2ME phones, last month for more than a few dozens of handsets. So totally, we support close to some 75 or so handsets. And what's enabling this entire thing is actually some deep IP and technology. We have filed close to some 6 patents on this. Because if you notice the phone cell network itself, it's very spotty. So I can be having 3G now, I turn it around and move, and it goes to a cell pocket. So how do we adjust the media, or how do we adjust the streaming as it goes through these various pockets? We enable that to do that. Plus, the fact is it's also built like a complete platform, so that when I'm live, I'm not just live on quick.com, it's live on any website. Wherever I've put my embed code, or in fact, you don't even have to have our Flash widget to do it. We give you the stream saying that, hey, this is the stream, play it from your Flash player. So it just enables us as a complete platform with APIs built out, and we are seeing people build applications on top of Quick. To give an example, one of the applications that a startup built was it was a location-based social network. So when you're streaming live, you're actually seeing all the other Quickers around you, and you can interact with it. We didn't have to build that. That startup actually took that initiative, used our APIs to build those products. Another live blogging software, Cover It Live, did the same thing. And they're rolling out these integrations within a couple of days. And finally, we did get quite a bit of recognition every month. We get some award or the other based on the technology that we have developed. And the latest thing that happened was in October, Nokia has basically announced that Quick will be a part of their own device, of the new device that they're launching, which is the 5800 Express Music.
Is that it? Well, thank you. Again, 5 minutes on the dot. Janetti has you guys trained. What do you guys think?
It's interesting. Video is a growing market. Mobile video streaming is also quite compelling because of the growing base of handset that will be enabled with that. My concerns are twofold. One is it's a very crowded space. On the startup side, you have Flixwagon, you have Kite, you have you guys. On the big company side, you have Yahoo and some of the experimentation they're doing on that front. So the question is, to what extent can you build a sustainable, long-term competitive advantage here, given that the basis for competition hasn't been established yet? Is it features? Is it bundled of services, and so on? I was glad to hear, to some extent, that you're looking at partnerships with carriers and some of the platform aspects but I'm not entirely sure if this is enough at this stage.
So, Todor, I was kind of skeptical myself. I worried about, the complexity. I think monetization of video, continues to be a challenge. Google and YouTube still haven't really kind of cracked the code there, and so the monetization thing was something I worried about. But I have to say, you won me over. I thought you did a great job on the presentation. I think you do have a very differentiated platform from the competition that Todor is worried about. I think the underlying IP is actually pretty intriguing. But I love the extensibility of it. What you've been able to do to be able to publish, self-publish very simply to all kinds of different places on the web, and make that, dead simple for people. The user experience is actually really great, having used it. So, great job. I think the company's on a great path.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Now, remember, this is our last company before we do the vote, and I'm going to have a slide on how we do that using your cell phones. But our last winner, and remember, everyone's a winner here, is Sungevity. So take it away, Danny Kennedy, CEO.
G'day, and thanks for having me. My name is Danny Kennedy, president and co-founder of Sungevity. Now, Sungevity is a bit different to the other companies here. We sell real things, solar panels. We stick them on people's roofs. We sell solar electric solutions via the internet. We like to call that Sunshine Online, but I think the reason we're here is that we meet the real world with a Web 2.0 platform. Our purpose as a company is to scale solar electricity as a solution to climate change. And so if your purpose as Web 2.0's thought leaders is to harness the intelligence of everyone, I'd love to talk to you all at some point about how we can further streamline and spread solar using the internet as a platform. Conventionally, this industry was very cumbersome, a real cottage industry. You called a mom and pop shop, you asked someone to come out and get on a roof and take some measurements and so on. We get the same data with satellite and aerial photographs through a virtual Earth feed, and then we turn around a quote basically within 15 minutes. We pledge within 24 hours to provide the same quote to the customer. We boiled down a 3-week process into something that took that period of time. In fact, we had one 80-year-old customer recently who got online, did that, made the purchase by email, placed the deposit by credit card, has his system installed in 3 weeks, what used to be the window for just getting a quote. So the point is, we've made the whole thing a lot easier, and we've saved thousands of dollars out of the channel and the transaction costs to get the system, and we're passing that on to the customer because we're 10% cheaper than the average installer in California. Before I show you the software behind that magic, I just wanted to show you that our view is the customer is paramount, right? We've got to put them first, and the real opportunity with clean tech is to make it easy and efficient for customers. It's not about the hardware, which is fast becoming a commodity. We wanted to radically simplify the way you buy, engineer, install these sorts of technologies. We want to be that brand that makes it fun, easy, and low cost. You guys know this story, right? As the web industry, you've done this to lots of industries, taken an inefficient market and made it better with web-based technology. This is a huge opportunity. The solar electric market is only $10 billion now, but it's competing head-for-head ultimately with a $1 trillion electricity market. It's growing 40% per annum. And the best way we can make it scale to fulfill its potential as a solution to climate change is stripping out all those redundancies and inefficiencies and getting it from the factory gate to the customer's roof with less transaction cost by digitizing the paperwork, automating as many of these processes as we can. As I said, we began our efforts with the first touch point the customer experiences, which is the quote. We use this, which is a little snapshot of our proprietary patent-pending software, to get the aerial and satellite images mashed up with data sets like sun hours and oblique images and the like, and that's really changed the game. We have a series of other online innovations, which for reasons of time I'm not going to be able to show you, but the proof is in the pudding, right? You're probably wondering what the experience is coming back from the customer's point of view. So I've asked Mr. Maestro to actually run a little bit of our website, and we asked Chris Albinson over here for his address so that we could actually see what the customer experience is by email.
Welcome to your personalized quote. Select from the package options shown to choose the best system size for you. When you're happy, you can either save it and return later, share it, or continue the ordering process. And we're on the phone ready to help if you have any questions. Enjoy.
And again, I'm not going to have time to go through this in detail with 120 left, but the bottom line is the key point. The return on investment of this commodity is fantastic. 17, 18% in Chris's case. Many of our customers get 20% or better. So if you've got tens of thousands of dollars, you should put that into this rather than any other investment in America today. Back to the PowerPoint, please. Finally, Sungevity is at market. We're well on track to make our first year's revenue targets of 2.5 million. In fact, we beat our sales targets last month, Black October, and we upsized some customers because they know this is a great investment for them. But more importantly, we've educated thousands of people and we've explained to them and begun a low-cost conversation via the internet about how to save money and carbon dioxide pollution. And now we're ready to take it global. Our business is actually to further leverage the internet by becoming the sort of back room of the industry. We want to be solarsalesforce.com if Mark is in the room. We want to actually help other installers be as efficient as we are, servicing them through the cloud with these sorts of tools. And we can cut 15 to 40% of their cost structure out with this platform as a service. So that's really the key. I'll just finish by asking you all to get online at Sungevity.com. If you live in the Bay Area, we can get you a quote and a system within a month or two. And if you mention Web 2.0, not that I want to bribe the audience, of course, we'll give you a special deal. Thank you very much.
All right. Wow. Again, right on time. Thoughts?
Yeah, so my reaction at first in hearing about the idea was that it solves a real problem because it was fairly archaic in the industry as to how installers quoted and so on. My problem with it is simply that a bunch of companies have all caught on to the same basic idea of using Google Earth, Microsoft Virtual Earth to do this very clever online quoting business. So if you take that away as true differentiation or defensible differentiation, then you just wonder, where does this business go? Right now there's a bit of a rat race to see who can be the biggest sort of lead gen in the solar business. And I'm just not sure that's how you end up with a truly valuable company down the road.
So I'm going to take the opposite view on this one. So I understand the thesis there. I got to say, if you look at the growth and the execution here, it's been absolutely phenomenal. And I think the technology is differentiated in some really interesting ways. The key thing for me is, the financial crisis has basically killed the commercial market for solar, and residential, I think, with the tax credits, is ripe for huge expansion. And I think the public at large is really interested in it. The challenge is twofold. One is, how do you make it simple enough and clear enough for people to really understand their choices? And I think the second thing is, how do you take the cost out and make it more efficient? I mean, half the cost of installing solar on your home is things that have nothing to do with the panels. And I think you guys have done a great job of driving transparency and information and taking cost out and making it easy for people. So I really like it. The other thing I have to say, though, is just your passion and your excitement for the business. I swore last year I'd never do this again because we said we really like Zimbra, and that got bought by Yahoo before we could invest in that one. And then last year we said we like Cleverset, and that got acquired 30 days after Launchpad before we could invest in that one.
But maybe you should stop coming, Chris.
I really should. But I got to say, I love the company. I think you're doing a great job. I'm really, really excited about the progress. And the last thing just to say is, your passion and excitement for the business. I mean, you sold Tim O'Reilly on a system in the green room before coming on stage. Well done.
Congratulations. So Danny, you can come right over here. So if we could have our entrepreneurs out here for the beauty contest, right out here, stage left, that'd be great. We're going to do your guys' job is over. Thank you very much. Don't leave, but thank you very much. Now it's up to you guys. Get out your cell phones. And we have a real-time vote system here for the best presentation, okay? And so what you need to do is the short code there. I'm losing my eyesight here. The short code is the same, but what you want to text is the name of the company, okay, to the short code. So for Carbonetworks, it's Carbonet. For GoodGuide, it's GoodGuide. For EveryScape, it's Every. For Predictify, it's Predict. For Quick, it's QIK. For Sungevity, it's Sungevity. So please get out your phones, and the short code, which isn't very big here, but let me read it for you, is 66937. 66937. And what you can see is this is an actual URL, a real-time URL that is picking up your votes and reordering the winners as we go. So I imagine there might be employees of your guys out there madly texting at the moment. That's all. We can cheat. This is the best in show, so it's not scientific. Everybody's a winner here. Again, 66937. We'll give it, Janetti back there, how long should we give it? Another minute. Okay, another minute. GoodGuide, QIK Quick, Sungevity, Every, Carbonet, and Predict. I feel like, you know, Wolf Blitzer after Pennsylvania went down, because it seems like we have a winner, but I'm not sure the West Coast is closed yet. And you never know about Florida. Okay, I think a minute's up. Yeah? Congratulations to GoodGuide. Best in show. And congratulations to you all. I just think there's no better 6 examples of Web meets World. I'm beaming, like Costanza would say, with the quality of the stuff that we got out of this year's Launchpad. So thank you guys. Thank you very much to our judges. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you very much.